Ironically, if the war in fact was aimed at preventing Iranian development of a nuclear weapon, it's more likely to accelerate a decision to do that and a program to accomplish that than the opposite. I think this is going to be a war of attrition. I don't believe that the United States has the munitions, equipment, and personnel necessary to carry out a war of attrition. It's not clear whether Iran, which claims it does have such a capability, really does. But I think nobody's going to come out of this better than they were going in. Israel, I believe, will be devastated by Iranian ballistic missile attacks, which will persist. It appears that the Iranians are doing again what they did in the so-called 12-day war of June, that is, expend their less effective munitions early on to deplete Israeli and American interception and defense capabilities, and then follow that with more effective missiles later. There were 480 buildings destroyed in Israel during the June war. Nobody reports this in the West. There's a major information war in progress in support of the Western alignment with Israel. I don't think Iran is going to come out of it better. Ironically, if the war in fact was aimed at preventing Iranian development of a nuclear weapon, it's more likely to accelerate a decision to do that and a program to accomplish that than the opposite. The murder of the supreme leader in Iran does not end the regime. There appears to be a kind of a caricature of Iran operating in the West, under which it was subject to one-man rule. But it is a very complex constitutional system with multiple checks and balances and redundancies, and Iran will reconstitute its leadership, and that leadership is likely to be more hardline, not less, as a result of this experience. The Gulf Arab states, the members of the GCC, have been put on the spot by several things. The closure of the Strait of Hormuz means that revenue streams from Qatar, I guess Qatar has now suspended gas production in response to the war. Oil from Kuwait, from Saudi Arabia, from Iran itself, from the UAE will be disrupted. The source supplies will be disrupted. But beyond that, Iran has a deliberate strategy of striking American bases that the GCC countries have allowed to be established on their territory, to put pressure on them to expel those bases. It's been quite careful. Of course, there has been some collateral damage, but it has been quite careful to focus on the Americans, not on the local inhabitants. And it's going to continue this. So there are two possibilities. Either those bases will become militarily indefensible, which is a possibility, and the United States would be forced to withdraw, or the governments that have permitted the establishment of those bases will have to consider, if not immediately expelling them, assuring the Iranians that they will do so in the future. So the irony here, of course, is that the bases, which from the point of view of the members of the GCC are there to defend them, from the American point of view are there to facilitate and enable attacks on Iran. And these interests are not compatible. And this is a political crisis for the Gulf.